there comes a pivotal time in your life where you literally just have to decide what it is that you truly want. And this is honestly a message to myself because I've been ping ponging back and forth, thinking about different things. But in all honesty, I've known for quite some time exactly what it is that I want. But I've also thought it wasn't really possible for me, which is why I would try this thing and try that thing because I really didn't have faith that what I truly wanted could happen for me. I thought that it could happen for everybody else, but it couldn't happen for me. And this has a lot to do with self-limiting beliefs, subconscious things that were hidden. And at the end of the day, I have to decide, what type of life do I want to live? What type of people do I want to have in my life? What type of experience do I want to be experiencing on a daily basis? And just agree that that is the case for me moving forward. And I have really gotten to this point, and I think part of this is because of a dream that I had last night. But I've gotten to this point where I'm like, you know what? Time is only ticking, okay? Time is not stopping. And yet time is an illusion in a lot of ways, but we also do have a certain amount of time that we're going to be living in this body, in this experience, until, we go into another experience and we cross over and whatever else. I don't know what your beliefs are in that, so whatever. But I know in terms of my life that I'll remember for now, I only have this one life, okay? You only have this one life. We don't really know what happens afterwards. So the only thing you can do is maximize your current life to the fullest. And it's so interesting because when I wake up every morning, I have an aspect or a part of Steve Jobs' commencement speech that he delivered to Stanford in, I think, 2005. And it says, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." And there's so many things in our lives that try to get our attention and try to convince us that we should be focusing our attention here, or we should be doing that, or we should be helping this person or helping that person. But if you're not living your life for you, if you're not deciding what you want your life to look like, you're always going to be floating, and you're never going to be living a life that you truly want to live because you're not allowing yourself the space to actually do so. And you need to ask yourself why that is. Why do you believe that other people can live a life that they love, but you can't? What is it that happened in your past that made you believe that you weren't worthy of it? That you would never be picked? That you can't travel the world? That you can't live in luxury? That you can't drive the car that you want? That you can't be in your dream relationship? What made you believe that? That's a real question you need to ask yourself. And those are the types of questions that I've been asking myself. And yesterday, I went to the beach. I had a day off, or I could have picked up some shifts, but I decided, you know what? I want to go to the beach tomorrow. I want to be in the water. I want to be a fish. And I had such a great time. If you actually want to see some of the pictures from that, the link to my Instagram is in the description. And I just had such a wonderful time, okay? I love going to the beach. It's always so cleansing. I mean, duh, you're in the water. And I actually saw 2 dolphins jumping in the water, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. And myself, and then there's a group of 2 girls off to my right. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, did you see the dolphins?" And I was like, "Yeah, I saw the dolphins." And it was so cool, right? The water was cold, but it was 95 degrees outside. So being in that water felt so incredible, so amazing. I had a boogie board, I had some goggles, so I was just doing the thing, okay? And it's always when I tap into my inner child and I do things like that, that I feel so good and I feel so held in nature. And I think when you can get out of your own way and you can tap back into nature and not be on your phone constantly, not be surrounded by people constantly and feeling the need to appease them, I think your life gets so much better. You know what I mean? And I think for so long in my life, I cared way too much about what other people had to say about what I was doing in my life. And I think that's the major thing that held me back, okay? I was concerned with fitting in when I was never going to, okay? If you are a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, it's simply never going to work. It's never going to work, or vice versa, right? A round peg trying to fit in a square hole, it's never going to work, right? So you have to ask yourself, why is it that you desire to be liked by people? Why is it that you desire to fit in with people? Because your desire to fit in, your desire to be liked is actually what is holding you back from actually living the life you desire. But you have to choose that life, and you have to be willing to let go of everything that you know, okay? To not be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. And you have to recognize that your time is limited. So what do you want to do with it? What is the purpose of your life? Is it to appease people? Is it to do things that you don't want to do? Or is it to have a fun time? I want to have a fun time. And that's why I always make the time to have a fun time, especially now, because the present moment is all we have. And if you're not enjoying yourself in the present moment, what's the point, right? Life is a successive amount of present moments, okay? So you should want to maximize your present moment as much as possible, whatever that looks like. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't have times where I'm scrolling a bit too much on my phone, okay? Especially on TikTok. And I should really probably not do that. But I don't beat myself up about it, because what would that do? It would do absolutely nothing. So thinking about the dream that I had yesterday, after I went to the beach, I was in my bed like really early this morning. And I had this dream that I was carrying something. And I was realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm right at the train station. This train station is right by my cousin's apartment. So I am like trying to cross the tracks, but you essentially have to go up and over to cross. So I go into the train station. I take the elevator because I'm carrying stuff and I didn't want to walk the stairs. And I take the elevator up, and then I'm going down to the other side. But instead of actually walking out and making my way towards my cousin's apartment, I somehow get on a train, okay? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't mean to get on this train. I get on the train, I'm like, okay, I'll just get off at the next stop. Lo and behold, this is not a local train. This is an express train. So it passes the next stop, and then it passes the next stop, and then it passes the next stop. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? But after a while, I was just like, whatever, I guess I wasn't supposed to go to my cousin's house, right? So I'm just like rolling with it. And I didn't feel anxious in the dream. I kind of felt like relief, because I was like, I mean, I guess, whatever, we'll see where this is going. And then I remember we got to this stop or this area, and I get off the train and I have to go to the bathroom, which is weird because trains have bathrooms, right? But we get off the train, meaning like the other people who were on the train with me who were getting off at that stop. And I go to the bathroom and I'm just waiting in line for the bathroom, and then I wake up. And when I looked at what the meaning of that dream is, so essentially whenever you are in a train station or on a train in a dream, it signifies paths, right? And that kind of makes sense. And the fact that I was supposed to go one way and then I ended up going a different way, it is supposed to signify how there are different paths in life that we can take. And sometimes you feel like you're on the wrong path, which is why I felt like I was on the wrong train. But because I was relieved and I didn't feel anxious about it, I was recognizing that, hey, sometimes the path that you're on is the right one. You just don't recognize it. You just have to be able to wake up and see that you don't have to know everything that's going to happen in your life. You just have to kind of roll with the punches. And I haven't really looked up what the bathroom thing meant, but especially since I was online, it's not like I was in the bathroom, where I've had another dream where I was in the bathroom and I was really trying to find a bathroom that had privacy and I couldn't. And that dream signified that, oh, you're feeling exposed. You're feeling like there's no place for you to be in your own privacy and all of that. So it wasn't a dream like that. I'd have to look it up, but I just think it's interesting given where I'm at in my life, and it totally lines up because I'm doing all these different things, whether it's becoming a bar teacher, working at a yoga studio now, doing these videos, posting on TikTok, right? And I'm curious of how all of them are going to converge and what that's ultimately going to look like. And instead of me trying to figure it out, I think I kind of just need to decide that I am doing the right thing. Even though it doesn't really necessarily make complete sense to me, my soul knows exactly what it's doing. And this feels way more aligned for me than I've ever really felt in my life, because when I was working corporate sales for like literally a month, I felt so out of alignment. And as much as I would act like everything was okay, oh yeah, I'm fine, I was dying inside, right? Because I feel like those type of environments kind of suck the life out of you. They expect you to be a robot. They expect you to say the exact same script to every single person and not customize it and not like really listen to what the individual on the other side really wants. And I was really having trouble with that. And I think the responses that I was getting from people was the same, because they would be like, hey, just talk to me. Like, what is this really, right? They could sense that I was being extremely robotic, and then they didn't really want to hear because they didn't think that I really cared, because I wasn't really listening, right? And I think this kind of says a lot about the world that we live in and how we think that if we just apply a carbon copy to things, it will work out. Like, sure, it might work out for a percentage of people, right? But if you really want to deliver a service that is truly going to help someone, you have to get into the nitty-gritty. You have to listen, and you have to respond intuitively, okay? Like, you're not going to know the right answer until you're talking to that person or those people and you're hearing what they're telling you, and you can intuitively suggest the ways in which your product or service can help them meet their specific needs. And unless you are attuned to yourself and attuned to other people, it's going to be very hard for you to actually be successful in delivering products and services, because it's not really about you, right? It's about just hitting a quota, a number. And people aren't just numbers. You're not just a number, okay? You're an individual, and you deserve to live a life that you really love. But you have to stop applying this mindset of, oh, it worked for them, so it should work for me. No, you have to really dig deep and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want? What is it that if I were to decide to do this, if I were to decide to go this way, if I were to decide to be with this person, what would that look like for you? And do you like how that looks? And if you don't, maybe do something else, right? But you also just have to make a decision. You have to trust yourself and have faith that where your heart is leading you is for a reason. And I think so many people don't really trust themselves. And I think, sure, society is to blame in a lot of aspects, but I don't want you to be a victim, okay? You don't have to be a victim. You can choose to not be a victim. You can choose to say, sure, my life, my family, my society has really instilled certain values in me that I don't authentically align with, but I did the soul searching and I figured out that this is the type of person that I am. This is the type of life that I want to live, and this is what I'm going to be doing, okay? And then you walk in that direction. And when it comes to what I'm doing in my life. Obviously, I'm not going to share everything, but I really like making these videos. I really like talking. So why not just continue to do it? And that's what I'm doing. You don't always need to have the full picture in order to start walking in a direction. You just have to know that it resonates with you on a soul level. And I think the fact that I have been putting off doing the things and deciding on the direction that I want to move in is because, or has been, out of fear, okay? Fear of what if it doesn't work out? What are people gonna say? Da 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 da. And it's like, if I've tried so many things and I've walked the walk of what people said I should do, I might as well go in a direction that I really resonate with. What's the point? I can always go back if I really want to. But at the same time, I've already exhausted those options, right? So I don't need to see where it leads. You don't need to see where something leads if you've exhausted that option already. I think a lot of people are unhappy because they're not really being themselves. They're being what others want them to be. And that never works out, okay? And I'm even thinking about that in the context of my dating life and, friends and all that stuff. I'm like, do I like the person that I am becoming when I associate myself with certain people? If not, why am I hanging out with them? And it's not even they're bad or this or that. It's really just we don't align. And I wish you well on the path that you're going down, but I don't align with you. And I'm lying to myself by acting like I do. I'm lying to myself by trying to fit in with you when I don't fit. Okay. And I think that's a beautiful thing. If you don't fit in somewhere, that's amazing, because that means maybe you're supposed to create your own container, and not maybe, you're supposed to create your own container where it is specifically made for you. That's awesome. Something that I'm thinking of right now is a seashell, right? A seashell is kind of an interesting shape, right? And I think seashells, while there are many seashells that look similar, they're each different. So why not try to contort yourself or really just be yourself and see what shape arises out of that? That is way more fun. There's way less pressure. And I just think it's optimal for your mental health, right? Like, the more that you try to chase things and be something that you're not, the more that your mental health goes off the deep end. And speaking of mental health, the other day, I kind of recently stopped watching Love Island. I was watching it for a while, but I was like, this is insane, because I feel like this is a social experiment and it fucks with these people's mental health who go on there, okay? I also think it fucks with the mental health of the people who watch it, because we're all just crazily analyzing what these people are doing, what they look like. And I think it's interesting because we do that to other people on a screen, but we won't take the time to do it to ourselves. And people have all these think pieces, and it's like, imagine if you put that energy and attention into yourself and you uncovered layers within yourself that would help you to decide on what it is you want to do and the direction that you want to go in. Like, everybody would be living a much different life than they are currently. And, it's no judgment. It's more so just something that I've noticed. That being said, another thing I've been thinking about lately is my overall health and how I've been eating over the years, my activity levels, and the like. And I've just made a really big lifestyle change as of late. I don't smoke weed at all anymore, which I'm so fucking grateful for, because honestly, it's really not for me. And I don't think it was ever really for me. I just think I was trying to fit in all honesty. And I don't drink often. I had a few high noons at the beach, but I was at the beach, I was having a good time, and then it was done. As soon as I came home, I was done with it. And the likelihood that I'll drink again in the next week, I mean, I guess maybe for July 4th, but that's pretty much it. I don't want to drink every night. I'm not trying to escape anything. I'm not trying to smoke away any pain. And I think a lot of the reasons why people do these things is because instead of dealing with their issues, they decide that they're going to numb themselves. And that's what I was doing. So that's why I'm saying that. So it's just interesting. And when it comes to that, I literally just decided one day that I don't do that anymore. That's all it took for me. Okay, obviously there's probably a lot of inner work that went on behind the scenes, but it culminated in me saying one day, I don't do this anymore. That's how I quit vaping. It's how I quit smoking weed. I just decided I don't do this anymore. And I would also say that's how I decided on having a healthier relationship with food, healthier relationship with my body overall. I just decided, oh, this is how it is now. So it really just takes deciding what it is for you and walking in that direction. And sure, there might be things that come into your life that try to get you to revert back. But when you make a decision and you're confident in it and it aligns with you, you're not going to sway. You're not going to be like, oh, well, no, you just have to literally decide. And it's so funny because in this moment, I'm recognizing how I've made the decision to do things at previous points in my life and how I really need to apply that to every aspect of my life. And maybe you should do the same. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do because I'm not you. I'm not like, what? That's crazy, right? I don't think anybody should ever tell someone what they should do unless you're asking my opinion and you want to know, but I'm still not going to tell you what to do. It's your life. You have free will. Do what you want to do. So decide what it is that you want to do. Anyway, I feel like this video is getting like long and all over the place. At the end of the day, if you want to live a certain life, you have to decide that that life is for you. Full stop. Okay. And you have to put in the work to get there. Okay. You can't just say, oh my gosh, I want to be a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers and you're not making one damn YouTube video. How the hell are you going to get there? You can't say, oh, I want to have my dream body. And yet every day when it's time for you to work out, you're sitting on your couch scrolling on TikTok. Like, you have to be real with yourself about what it is that you truly desire and whether or not you're willing to put in the inspired action that will get you there. Because that's what it's all about, truly. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on my socials down below, and I will see you all in the next one.